What's going on, guys? So today I got kind of froggy, and I thought, my infed half wave does so well when I do parks on the air on that 20-foot pole that I would hook it up here at the house. And I've done it before, but I've never really played with it for a long period of time. So generally, what I do is at the parks, I'll throw it up in a severe inverted V. So that's how it is now. What I did is I went up onto the deck and I threw that 20-foot pole on top of the deck. So the middle of the wire, so it's 10 through 40 infed halfway by myantennas. Very good antenna. And I wanted to compare it a little bit to my loop antenna. Now the peak of the loop is probably about 30 feet as well, so it may be a foot or two shorter above ground level than the infed half wave, but the results are very similar in both antennas. I do notice I spent most of the afternoon on 40, 20, 15, and 10, and I didn't really play around and get reports on the transmit side. I just basically did back to back on receive. So the loop is apex down, so it's fed in the left corner. It's about 9 or 10 feet off the ground at the two bottom corners, and the peak of the delta loop is about, like I said, about 30 feet. And so it's fed with what's called true ladder line. I don't like window line. I like true open wire. And then it goes to a 4-to-1 Ballon Designs, which is a hybrid. It has a 1-to-1 choke and a 4-to-1 Ballon in one box there, and then it just comes like 2 or 3 foot jumper to the shack here. So let's kind of look at them both, because if you're deciding one day, maybe you are kind of leaning toward throwing a dipole up or maybe an infed half wave. Now this infed half wave is grounded at the transformer, and it's grounded at the coax, where the coax passes in through the shack here. So, and they're all bonded together. Crazy enough, one of the parks that I go to is right up the road, and I get out so much better up there than I do here, and it's only like 5 minutes up the road. So location is everything on antennas. There could be something here that I just don't like, it could have been propagation that day. So but anyway, I wanted to compare the two. Right now I'm on the loop, so I don't know if you can see this. So I'm on 14052, and I'm listening to this guy. And you'll notice the noise floor, and you can see it on the actual pan as well. But I'm going to switch over to the infed half wave. You see how the noise came up to about an S4, from an S2 to S3 to an S3 to an S4, bouncing to a 5. So there's the infed half wave, and then there's the loop, and you can kind of see it's infed half wave. Now we're on to the loop, so you can kind of see the darkness as I go to the loop. I'm not really sure where my station went here, so let's go track another one down, shall we? So that's the loop. And there's the end-fed half wave. I'm going to switch to the loop. I'm going to go back to the end-fed. Loop. End-fed. Loop. Of course, there's a lot of QSB on this guy too. We're on the loop right now. Now we're on the end-fed. I don't know if you can hear that, but like weak signal stuff, that's where the loop really shines. Like weak signal. And again, it's not like night and day. So like if you're considering, you know, maybe putting a loop up and you already have an end-fed half wave up, I don't know if you should do that, you know. So that's the end-fed half wave, and there's the loop. End-fed. Loop. End-fed. So it's a very interesting comparison. I'm actually really impressed with the end-fed half wave antenna. So let's go to 40. Let's see if we can find somebody here on 40 meters that is kind of just there. There's kind of not a super weak station, but fairly weak. So we're on the end-fed half wave. Now we're on the loop antenna. The end-fed half wave. Let me switch to the loop. End-fed half wave. So you see the noise comes up quite a bit on the end-fed half wave, even though it's grounded. And a lot of it could be ground noise, you know, here, because we do have utilities underground here. So, but it is. Go back to the loop here. It is neat to see that station that was kind of in the noise, or kind of a weaker station. I wouldn't say he was a weak station, but he was a weaker station. I can go to the loop and it pulls him out of the noise, and that's what really helps me get DX contacts at nighttime, especially on like 30 meters. 20 as long as it plays, but 30 is one of the bands that I've been racking up some DX. So let's go to 30 here and see. Oh, my pan adapter looks really wild there. So this is interesting as well. And I noticed this earlier. Of course, there's no signals here, other than FT8. Alright, so we'll just kind of roll with this for a second. So on 30 meters, since I don't see any CW signals, we're on the loop. And I'm going to switch over to the end-fed half wave. Loop, end-fed half wave. But notice this also, that the loop antenna has more noise than the end-fed half wave does on 30 meters. So the end-fed has like an S3 and the loop has like an S5. I thought that was really interesting. Let's see, is there anybody on 17? Anybody? I don't know what that is. So the end-fed is not really resonant on the 17. So on the loop, I'm able to hear that carrier noise. And on the end-fed, I can't hear it at all. So I wonder if 10 is open too, because I actually made a few contacts on 10 earlier, the phone portion of the band. Let's see, it's probably not open, because if it was, FT8 would tell me everything I need to know there. So. But here's something also interesting I found. So like on 15 meters, right? Yeah, we're on the loop. So take a look at the birdies on the pan adapter. So here's the station right here. Now I'm gonna switch over to the end-fed half wave. All the birdies go away. So that loop is picking up something and causing birdies on the SDR, the flex here. So back to the loop. And again, you'll notice that the noise floor is actually lower on 15 meters than the loop. However, on weak signals, I'm still able to pull out better with the loop antenna. So earlier on 10 meters, what I was going to say is I listened to a few stations down in South America on both antennas performed equally as good on 10 meters. And I wish I had asked the guy if he would have allowed me to switch and get it like an A/B comparison on transmit, but it's so hard to do. It's very difficult to do that because the bands are just major QSB, so you have to really, it's not like you can hook up one antenna and over 10 or 15 minutes or even probably a day, just say, well, this antenna is better than the other. So we went back to 40 meters. I spent a lot of time on 20, 30, and 40. And so now I'm on the loop antenna. Now we're on the end-fed. Loop antenna. So the station's a little stronger on the loop antenna than the end-fed half wave. Here's the end-fed. infed half wave rather, and you can tell because usually you can watch the waterfall. So when I switch over to the loop, it's a little bit darker there. Oh, there's the infed. Oh, gotta stop. There's the loop. The infed. The loop. So, I mean, this is just one of those situations to where if you don't have the room to put a loop up, an infed will do just fine. You know, it's to me there's not a whole lot of difference between an infed half wave that's like this one that's like 63, 64 feet long. A reputable company, infed at that, grounded properly, it does okay. It does about the same as a reference dipole, up 30 feet. So again, the thing I can't stress enough about the loop is two ends are very low to the ground and fed low at the ground with open wire, and I'm able to tune every band. So I can tune anything from 10 through 60 meters, 6 meters also. It's not very good on 6. It receives very well, kind of acts like a rhombic on 6 meters, but it's not very efficient on transmit. So that's a whole nother story, So if you're debating on getting an infed half wave or building a loop, like me, I don't have trees, so I have to use a fiberglass push-up mast on the back deck, and that's where I anchor the height, the highest part of the delta loop there, and then I use just PVC conduit, tied to the fence. I got a chain link fence around, which could have some effect on ground activity too. So, but in my opinion, and I really wanted to believe that the infed half wave would give me better results shooting across the pond over into Europe and Russia and stuff like that. But according to the reverse beacon network, they're both primarily the same. So I think I did get a few spots in Europe there on the Delta Loop, and then I got several spots out to the west on the infed half wave. And again, it's in a severe inverted V. It's like this right here. So that's how I like to run it when I'm at like doing POTA or something like that. Is I seem to have, there's no noise at parks really, and you get you get some really good DX. But my location is everything, everything. So if you're out in the country, consider yourself blessed. If you're in town, you're going to be dealing with this noise a lot. I mean, this is not bad noise either. It's just man-made noise. So I'm going to pick the loop every time. I'm just a fan of loop antennas. I've configured this loop antenna multiple ways, and I keep coming back to the same feed point. So I wish I had room to put two loops up, actually, like a parasitic array. That's what I'd really like to have. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna jump out and let this video run too long. So I just wanted to show you that loops are not gonna like pound a dipole or a infed half wave. They'll win, but it's not a huge significant amount on most stations. There are some stations that are really, really faint, and you'll be able to hear them a lot better on the loop antenna. So, all right, guys, take care, and I'll throw this up for anybody that's curious.